There was once a wealthy king who had everything: gold, power, admiration, but he was never truly happy. He traveled far and wide, seeking wisdom from scholars, monks, and mystics, yet happiness eluded him. One day he met an old Stoic philosopher who simply smiled and said, "Happiness isn't found in riches, approval, or ease. It's found in mastering yourself." The king realized he had been chasing an illusion. The truth about happiness? It isn't given, it's built. It's not about what happens to you, but how you respond. Today, I'll share the Stoic keys that unlock true, lasting happiness. 1. Control what you can, let go of what you can't. Life is filled with uncertainty. No matter how much we plan or prepare, unexpected challenges arise, relationships end, careers take unexpected turns, and circumstances shift beyond our control. Most people spend their lives trying to fight against these realities, exhausting themselves in the process. But true peace comes when we learn to separate what is within our power from what is not. Imagine standing on the shore shouting at the waves to stop crashing. It's futile. The ocean moves as it will, indifferent to your demands. But what you can do is build a stronger boat, learn to navigate and adapt to the rhythm of the sea. This is the essence of Stoicism, understanding that while you cannot change the external world, you can always change your response to it. Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, ruled during wars, plagues, and betrayals. Despite the chaos, he remained composed, writing in his journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He understood that external circumstances are beyond control, but inner discipline is always within reach. This perspective is liberating. When you stop wasting energy on things you cannot influence, other people's opinions, the past, or random misfortunes, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. Instead, direct that energy toward what you can control: your mindset, your actions, and your attitude. Every moment spent dwelling on what you cannot change is a moment lost in frustration. Every moment spent focusing on what is within your control is a moment gained in power. The sooner you accept this truth, the sooner you reclaim control over your life. 2. Happiness comes from within, not external validation. Most people spend their lives chasing happiness in all the wrong places. They believe that success, wealth, admiration, or the perfect relationship will finally make them feel whole. But the moment they attain one goal, a new desire takes its place, and the cycle of dissatisfaction continues. This happens because true happiness isn't found in external things. It comes from within. Imagine a man who climbs a mountain, thinking that once he reaches the top, he will feel complete. But when he gets there, he sees another, higher peak in the distance. This is how external validation works. It always leaves you wanting more. The Stoics understood that happiness is not about having more, but needing less. Seneca, a great Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor." Think about the people you know who are constantly seeking approval, chasing likes on social media, needing others to validate their worth. They are never at peace, because their sense of self depends on something they can't control: other people's opinions. The moment they stop receiving praise, they feel empty. But those who find fulfillment from within, who define their own worth, remain steady no matter what happens around them. True happiness comes when you stop looking outward and start looking inward. It is built on self-mastery, contentment, and the ability to remain grounded despite life's ups and downs. When you realize that happiness is not something to be pursued but something to be cultivated within, you free yourself from the endless chase and step into a life of true peace. 3. Desire less, appreciate more. The world constantly tells us that happiness comes from getting more. More money, more success, more possessions. But the truth is, the more we desire, the more restless we become. We convince ourselves that we'll be happy once we reach a certain goal, but when we get there, another desire replaces it. This endless cycle keeps us chasing a future that never arrives. Imagine a man dying of thirst in the desert. He keeps running toward a mirage, believing it will quench his thirst, only to find it was an illusion. This is how uncontrolled desire works. It makes us believe that happiness is just one achievement away, but once we reach it, satisfaction slips through our fingers. The Stoics understood that true happiness is not about gaining more, but wanting less. Epictetus, a former slave turned Stoic philosopher, taught that freedom comes from reducing our desires. He said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few want." When we stop obsessing over what we lack and start appreciating what we already have, we break free from the prison of endless craving. Gratitude is the antidote to desire. Instead of focusing on what you don't have, take a moment to recognize what you do: your health, your relationships, the simple joys of life. The more you shift your mindset from lack to abundance, the more peace you will find. Happiness isn't about acquiring more, it's about appreciating the present. When you learn to desire less and value what's already in front of you, you'll discover a deeper, lasting fulfillment that no amount of wealth can buy. 4. Embrace discomfort. Growth lies there. Most people spend their lives avoiding discomfort. They seek the easiest path, the least resistance, and the most comfort. But growth never comes from staying in the safe zone. It comes from stepping into discomfort, facing challenges, and pushing beyond limits. The Stoics understood that adversity isn't something to be feared, it's something to be embraced. Imagine a blacksmith forging a sword. The metal must endure intense heat and relentless hammering to become strong. Without this process, it remains weak and brittle. The same applies to us. Without struggle, we remain stagnant. Every challenge, every setback, every hardship is an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This means that obstacles are not barriers, but stepping stones. When you face difficulties, whether it's failure, rejection, or hardship, ask yourself, how can this make me better? Instead of running from discomfort, lean into it. Physical strength is built by stressing muscles, and mental strength is built the same way, through enduring and overcoming difficulty. The more you expose yourself to discomfort, the more you expand your limits. Instead of avoiding challenges, train yourself to see them as opportunities. The pain of discipline, the struggle of effort, and the discomfort of pushing beyond your limits are what shape you into a person who is unshakable. True strength isn't found in avoiding hardship, but in facing it head-on. The more you embrace discomfort, the more you'll realize that the things you once feared were never as powerful as you thought. Growth is always on the other side of struggle. Step into it. 5. Detach from outcomes. Focus on effort. Most people tie their happiness to outcomes. They believe they will be fulfilled if they succeed, if they get the promotion, if their plans work out. But Stoicism teaches that true peace comes from detaching from results and focusing on what we can control, our effort. Imagine a farmer planting seeds. He can water them, give them sunlight, and tend to the soil, but he cannot control the weather or guarantee a harvest. If he obsesses over the outcome, he will live in anxiety. But if he focuses on doing his best and accepts whatever comes, he finds peace. Life works the same way. Epictetus said, "Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather, wish that what happens be the way it is, and you will be happy." This doesn't mean you shouldn't have goals. It means you should give your best effort and accept the result, whether it's success or failure. When you focus only on outcomes, you set yourself up for suffering. If things don't go as planned, you feel like a failure. If they do, you still feel unsatisfied because the next goal appears. But when you focus on your effort, on showing up, working hard and growing, you always win, regardless of the result. Detaching from outcomes doesn't mean giving up ambition. It means freeing yourself from the emotional highs and lows of success and failure. When you learn to value the process over the prize, you gain an unshakable sense of inner peace. 6. Your thoughts shape your reality. The way you think determines the way you experience life. Most people believe their emotions are controlled by external events, failures, setbacks, or how others treat them. But Stoicism teaches that it's not events themselves that disturb us, it's our interpretation of them. Imagine two people stuck in traffic. One is frustrated, cursing every car in sight. The other remains calm, using the time to reflect or listen to music. The situation is the same, but their experiences are completely different. Why? Because their thoughts shape their reality. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This means that suffering isn't caused by life's hardships, but by the way we think about them. If you see obstacles as unfair burdens, you will feel like a victim. But if you see them as challenges to overcome, you will grow stronger. Your mind is like a garden. If you plant seeds of negativity, self-doubt, fear, resentment, they will grow and take over. But if you plant resilience, gratitude, and discipline, your life will flourish. Every thought you entertain is a choice. The more you train your mind to focus on what empowers you instead of what weakens you, the more control you will have over your happiness. You cannot always change what happens to you, but you can always change how you interpret it. When you master your thoughts, you master your life. 7. Memento mori. Cherish every moment. Most people live as if they have endless time. They procrastinate on their dreams, hold grudges, and stress over trivial matters, forgetting one undeniable truth: life is fleeting. The Stoics embrace this reality through the concept of memento mori. Remember, you must die. This isn't meant to be depressing. It's a call to truly live. Imagine holding an hourglass, watching the sand slip through your fingers. Each grain represents a moment of your life, and once it's gone, you can never get it back. Yet people waste time worrying about the opinions of others, chasing things that don't matter, and postponing their happiness for one day in the future. But one day is never guaranteed. Seneca wrote, "You are afraid of dying, but how is the way you live any different from being dead?" This is a harsh but necessary question. If you are not truly living, if you are trapped in fear, regret, or meaningless distractions, then you are wasting the most precious gift you have: time. Memento mori isn't about fearing death, it's about using it as motivation. When you realize that every moment is a gift, you stop taking life for granted. You appreciate the people around you, you pursue what truly matters, and you let go of trivial worries. You stop postponing joy and start living with urgency, purpose, and gratitude. You don't control how much time you have, but you control how you use it. Live today as if it truly matters, because it does.